Hey, gang, it's Badmouth. Welcome to a very special edition of the CCA Corner. We got mailbag episode 666. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host Mallory.
Hey guys, I'm here, but I may not be here the whole time. I have acquired a cold somewhere between here and the Bahamas. So if you don't hear from me again after a certain point in the episode, my ass went to bed. But
Yeah.
Morris made this episode a mailbag episode because he thought that we were still going to be on vacation, and then we weren't. So this is Morris's baby, and I'm just kind of here. So here we are. And Morris, who do we have with us?
Oh, this is our inaugural roundtable episode, and we're going to try and make it as unchaotic as possible. But we got our beautiful baby boys from Boston. We got Chris Sampieri. We got Mr. Miller. We got the the always chill Townie and Mr. Carson. Also, we have from Texas. We got Ernest Gonzales out of San Antonio and Cesar Hernandez out of Region 5 in Southern Texas. And I have mystery guest written down, and I don't remember who that is. We'll figure it out though. But yeah, before I give everyone a chance to say hi, I want to do a correction. We just had our Heat episode drop, and I had some people reach out to correct me. I was talking about chug water. Don't chug water. Take little sips. Mal was consistent throughout the whole episode talking about taking sips. That was my screw up, guys. If I ever say something and it conflicts with something Mal says, just know that she's smarter than me and go with what she says.
Shut
Okay.
up.
And the other thing on the Heat episode, we were talking about the Red Book. One of the tips that I forgot about was if your parking loop is at the end of the street on your swing, change your Red Book or move your mail around so you can park in the middle of your swing. That way, when you're in the middle of your swing, your truck is right there if you need some water or a cold towel. That
You didn't
helps a
say
lot
that?
in Texas. No, no, no. I meant to say it. I wrote it down, but I apparently forgot. But
Oh,
yes,
I
so
thought you said it, but maybe I'm crazy.
yeah, I talked about Red Book stuff about moving your walking to the beginning of the day, but not changing your parking loop to where you're parking in the middle of your 2 block loop instead of at the end of it. But yes, okay. So preamble done. Let's let's introduce ourselves, guys. For Sampieri, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, hi. I'm Chris Sampieri. I'm a member of Branch 18, Southeastern Massachusetts, where I'm also the legislative political director, and I've been a carrier for 8 years.
Very
Awesome. Thanks for
nice,
coming
very
aboard.
nice.
Townie, what's up, brother?
Hey, yeah, it's JT out of Woonsocket. Branch 55, formerly of Branch 12, which was out of Worcester. There's a lot of crazy stuff. It's a lot of different things. So I'm glad to be on with you guys.
Hell yeah. Okay, we also got Mr. Ryan Miller.
Hey guys, Ryan Miller. I'm out of Branch 34 Boston, 8-year rank and file letter carrier, currently in the Braintree SNDC.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And Mr. Dennis Carson.
Hey, Dennis here, letter carrier, Branch 34. Almost 2 years now, so I'm fairly new and can definitely identify with some of the stuff that the newbies, the CCAs, the PTFs are feeling. So that's kind of what I bring to the table. It's just kind of being able to know where they are at.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And then from Texas, we're joined by Mr. Cesar Hernandez.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Cesar Hernandez. I've been a letter carrier for 12 years, and I'm from Branch 421 out of Uvalde, Texas. One of the AOs, about 2 hours, an hour and a half, south to the border. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. And Mr. Ernest Gonzales for NBA Region 10.
Don't do that, man. What is wrong with you? Ernest Gonzales, I got enough that can cross hairs on my back.
We can cut that. We can cut that out. I can reintroduce you.
No, it's all right.
No, it's fine. Keep it.
Leave it in. Fuck it. Ernest Gonzales, Branch 421, San Antonio. Coming up on 11 years.
Yeah, and Ernest is our representative from the coordinating committee for Building and Fighting NALC.
Right, I forgot. I'm on the National Coordinating Committee for Building and Fighting NALC, and I'm the chair for the Southeastern branch of BFN.
Forgive him, guys.
All right.
It's late.
Yeah. Okay, so just to go over our agenda real quick. So the BFN is launching CCA Summer. which is something that I think is incredibly necessary. I'm so glad people are finally fucking doing it. This is kind of a Mal and I and Cole started the CCA corner with the help of Corey Walton to basically like educate and help CCAs get involved and help us sort of fucking survive. You know what I mean? And this is an effort where the rubber is meeting the road. This is an effort done by BFN and by rank and file cats, like the guys who just introduced themselves. We're all doing this shit unpaid. We're doing it for the love of the game. And we're doing it to support our fellow letter carriers, right? We always talk about solidarity and we always talk about taking care of each other. These are people taking care of us so we can better take care of each other too, right? We're going to go over the need for something like this. If you're a CCA listening, you're already like, no shit, bro. You know this shit. But like for the people who aren't CCAs who are listening, this is kind of, we're going to tackle that. And then we're going to go over what is CCA Summer? You know, what are the goals, how to get started, and then what's it look like? What it looked like when it first started, and how's it changed in the couple weeks already of its infancy, right? And then we're just going to go over some like reflections on shit, and then recap, do some plugs, close, and go to bed because I know we're all tired. But yeah, so let's get into this shit. All right, why do CCAs need extra support outside of the union hall and our massive amount of 4 days of cadet training, right? Why do we need that support? Again, if you're CCA listening, you know why. Cadet training is only 4 fucking days, and your OJI only has as much time for you as management allows. And if you have a really badass OJI, they're going to be looking out for you regardless, right? But sometimes they don't always do that. They're busy, right? So we're going to try and fill those gaps with some of this stuff. And also like our stewards. I have an amazing steward, Rodney Anderson. I love that man, but he's the steward for 3 fucking stations. To expect him to be able to take every CCA who comes into those 3 stations under his wing and help them out, that's more than you can ask of anybody. Stewards are almost all overburdened by grievances, and it makes it hard for a lot of them to always give newbies that sort of like good bedside manner, like sort of like, hey kid, welcome to the shit show type shit, right? That's a big necessary thing for why the rank and file needs to be looking out more for CCAs. The other thing is like CCAs, generally your experience as a CCA with the union is someone will come in cadet training, talk for like 5 minutes, sign you up for the union, and then you don't really fuck with the union or talk to the union, and the union doesn't really talk to you until you're in trouble, unless you're in a really good office out of a really good local. But like a lot of the experience that of CCAs I talk to is they don't see the union until they're in trouble for something, and that's where we're trying to pick up the slack and support people, right? And you all know that you're a CCA. You know that you're the hardest working, lowest paid, most vulnerable, and most abused worker at the post office, right? And management, like, you are subjected to a never-ending onslaught of misinformation and gaslighting from management, and even some of the status quo within our own union. It sucks. It's trash. And you all know that Amazon Sundays, it's the Wild West. You're not treated like a postal employee. You're lied to by management. You're rushed. You're doing crazy shit that no other letter carrier should have to do. The union isn't there because they're enjoying their day off. Regular letter carriers, unless they're picking up overtime on a holiday, they're not there. It's demoralizing as fuck. So we got some cool cats who are going out to Amazon Sunday to bring donuts and bring coffee and Gatorades and like talk to y'all about your rights and tell you about shit, right? I know it feels like it's too good to be true sometimes. Trust me, I know. But these guys are the real fucking deal, and that's why I wanted to have them on to talk about some of this shit. So let's get into it. So what the fuck is CCA Summer? Like, what's the goal, Mr. Gonzales? Do you want to tell us about like kind of give us the elevator pitch of what the National BFN's goal is for CCA Summer?
Yeah, sure, man. So the coordinating committee had a meeting on this a couple months ago, back in June, and and I'll just read to you the statement that we put together as a group. So CCA Summer is a way for NALC and BFN members to get connected to CCAs and PTFs on Amazon Sundays, talk about what we're fighting for this union, share helpful information, and give support to CCAs and PTFs while they navigate being new at the post office, and encourage CCAs and PTFs to join the reform movement within the NALC. One thing that I don't have to tell this to most people who are already employed here, as you start to understand that although we have one contract, we really don't. While you're a CCA, while you're a PTF, and until both of those positions transition into a regular, you basically have two different rules within the same contract. So basically, it gives us almost three different classes of employees, not including the T6 position, which basically gives you four classes at that point. So yeah, the important part of why we emphasize it on the summer is to recognize that I know when people think CCAs, they think 22, 23-year-old kids. A lot of the CCAs coming in are not fucking kids. They're in their 40s. They're either they had a trade that was either automated or they were working with some type of job that was either outsourced or sent to a different country. And so they're trying to start a different career path while they're in their 40s, and some of them are in their 50s in some cases.
Yeah.
And at least down here in South Texas, if you've never carried mail before and you've been in a completely different craft and you're having to learn how to fucking carry mail in South Texas in the summer, and you're starting off in the summertime, it's going to be fucking brutal on your body if you're in your 40s, man. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
so,
I'm 40. It's playing on hard mode, man.
Right. And you're in a little better shape than most other people in their 40s, man. So you got it a little bit better than some of these guys, And again, not to throw shade at anybody, but it gets rough.
All my problems are in my brain. My body works fine. It's the old brain box that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly, man. So that's kind of that's the overall view of it. And so again, the tactic is basically try to go out to those offices on Sundays. Hopefully this won't start to notify some of the higher ups in the management scheme to put out memos and really push those supervisors to keep an eye out for those type of organizers and to make sure that they're not on the premise if they're not on the clock. They'll start doing shit like that. So hopefully this won't be a thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Any advice to CCAs if you're tired of working Amazon Sunday? I started organizing CCAs at Amazon Sunday, and they stopped scheduling me because they didn't like me there telling people how to file a fucking grievance. So yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. So then I just started showing up in the parking lot. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Ernest. Chris, you kind of, you and the beautiful boys of Boston started showing up. Like, I know there've been pockets of people around the country already doing it, but you guys started doing it in a more concerted, like, hey, we're going to get a clique together, show up and try to help people out. Can you tell me kind of what the impetus was to get that started and kind of like, how'd you start doing that?
Yeah, sure. No, it's an interesting story. So I mean, initially it didn't even start out as something like this. So what happened was when the contract was coming out, after the TA was passed, we met Massachusetts BFN and we're like, how do we reach out to people about this? What's the best way to do it? And I'm like, let's reach out to the CCAs. They don't know much about the union. Let's tell them about the contract or anything. And so it was Ryan, myself, it was Kelly from Branch 34. Later on, Dennis joined us. We started going there. And this was it was like February in Massachusetts. Not great. Kind of cold out there. So we were out there in the parking lots, which, by the way, we are legally, if you're out there, we are. I keep this, if you've seen the video, but I keep my employee rights, the NLRB ruling. You can be there. Make sure you bring your work ID, legal, just to protect yourself. But so we were out there and we're telling people about the contract. And what amazed us the most really is that A, people didn't know that we had a tentative agreement. B, people didn't know what is a tentative agreement, and we can vote. How do we vote? Where do we go vote? And it was really basic questions that we were like, wow, this is pretty bad. So, but we did talk to them, everyone was upset or they knew about it, and it went well with these conversations. So we're wrapping up and we're leaving. And we noticed at one point we're seeing 5 or 6 people file out of the office. I'm like, what's going on? Like, they sent us home. There's not enough work.
Sundays and then send people
Right.
away. They'll overschedule and then send people away.
Yep. So we're like, what are you guys doing? Oh, they sent us enough work. And then I think Ryan said, like, so you guys getting your pay, right? And they're like, what pay? You get 2 hours for showing up or 4. And they're like, we do? That's when we realized these people didn't know about money they were owed, that they were owed mileage if they drove a certain point. Make sure you tell your steward about this. And then someone's like, one was like, I've heard of a steward, but what is a steward? And I'm like, how long have you been here? He's like, 4 months. I'm like, so you've never met your steward? I mean, obviously that answers the question. It's like, no one's really talked to me from the union. I don't know if I'm in the union. We realized there was a knowledge gap. and we had to address that. So we realized, okay, we told everyone, go back in, punch out, and talk to your supervisor and tell the steward. They'll, So we did that. So we came back a couple weeks later, and a couple of people were like, "Hey, I remember you guys. You were the ones who you got us paid." Putting money in a CCA's pocket actually works quite well. It leaves a positive impression. So we learned that this was a really good thing, and obviously you want to tell people about the contract and the TA, but that was the thing. And we're like, I think what we really should be kind of focusing on is knowing your rights and how you're supposed to be getting paid. So we made a flag just mostly about that too. Also to take your breaks. If you like, we realized the education needs to happen because no one from I'm not here to talk ill of my leadership at all, but I don't see any union leaders and any of the locals going and doing this, talking to the CCAs and taking a Sunday, just doing it. I've heard that there was one in Savannah, but
I think Richie Ray and John Cruz. I don't know if it's still happening, but I know.
I think that's the only other one. That's right.
Before COVID, I know they were doing shit. I haven't talked to Richie in a little bit. I got to call that guy. I love that guy. No, exactly. And the only reason, like, I'm a CCA, and the only reason I knew shit was because I had a background in unions before I joined the post office.
Same.
And also, like, they pissed me off, and I am stubborn. I love being a bitch when I think it's warranted. I started educating myself. I started listening to Corey's podcast. I started talking to my steward all the time to be like, hey, this is a grievance, right? And like, I quickly got a target on my back for that shit. But like, I come from a more privileged background, from a knowledge base than your average CCA who's maybe worked at fucking Sonic or Walmart. Not that that's real work that should be unionized. It's not.
Right.
But yeah, so no, that's fucking awesome. So you guys kicked that off and started just showing up. No, that's great. And then you showed up. You got some good pictures. You guys kind of made a fun Sunday morning of it. That got attention from the national coordinating committee and stuff. And they're like, "Oh motherfucker, maybe we ought to fucking do this shit." And like that's I know, right? Like that's awesome. That's so cool. And again, like just like Mal and Cole and I put a whole lot of time and labor into educating CCAs. Having boots on the ground educating CCAs is a fucking game changer. So I just want to say thank you for that. And you're right. You put money in the fucking CCA's pocket rather than just showing up because CCAs, we're like kicked dogs, man. You show up promising a nice meal, we're going to growl at you. But if you give us that nice meal, leave us alone, come back later, suddenly we're your friend. Right. So that's a great way of approaching that shit. I want to talk about some of the shit that we're doing down here in Texas and the southeastern branch of Building and Fighting NALC because like I've been organizing CTAs on Amazon Sunday and shit like that since like my second fucking month in. So I've been doing that for a while too. And I know like Charlie Haddock's out in Grand Prairie. I want to give him a shout out. He's also BFN. He's in Grand Prairie in Dallas, and he's at a Lone Star branch. He was going to be on tonight. He just made OJI, which is dope. But like one of the first things he did is he immediately started a group chat with all the CCAs and just said, "Hey, it's Charlie from Route whatever. If you have any questions or you need help with anything, put it in the chat." Like he just made himself available, just like you guys showed up and made yourselves available. Like that boots on the ground, and just that shit is so fucking important. Like so, and then also like Hernandez down there in Region 5, he's been running, he's been getting flack for like his support of what would you call it, Cesar? The union might think it's a lost cause, and you're going to fight for it anyway, and that kind of pisses off the people that didn't want to deal with it. Is that kind of the situation?
Yes, John. Actually, it is. I guess like me helping people, I get in trouble. Same as Ernest. And I mean that's what we do over here. Like me, Ernest, and we have a group over here that we actually we're put to mentor on other stewards. We kind of got blackballed by some, upper union members.
Yeah, it's fucking gross, man. And I love you guys. And I love the fact that you, like me, love being a pain in the ass. If someone's going to be a pain in the ass about me helping people, that's just going to make me double down. And I love that about you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Okay, so that's kind of what's going on in Texas and like how it got started. I know I saw Branch 9, and I was hoping to have one of those cats on. They started doing it the last couple weeks. Like this shit's dope. This shit's cool. So I'm glad that y'all are here, and I love you guys so much. But let's get into now that our CCAs and our audience knows what CCA Summer is. What's it look like when we're doing the damn thing, right? Ryan, I know Chris talked about how it got started. What did that first day look like? Can you walk us through that first day where you're like, we're just going to show up and help people, not necessarily talk about the contract, but like just show up and be available. Can you talk a little bit about that?
There's not much to it. You just kind of show up. That first day, I remember Chris and I think Chris had found it initially, this NLRA ruling saying it was illegal for our employer to prohibit us from soliciting for a union during non-work time, or like just union issues.
Yeah.
So that was kind of enticing to us, right? We kind of like the idea of we can show up, and if the boss gives us shit, we have this ruling to give them.
Yeah.
Just being pains in the asses, we like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Just if nothing else, it's a shot across the bow to let them know that we see you, we're watching you. The Watchmen have watchers. Who watches the Watchmen? We do, motherfucker.
you got it. And also, I think it had, like Chris said, it happened around the time of the Vote No campaign, and we thought, we have all these letter carriers in this one spot, it'd be excellent outreach,
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to be a lone lunatic outside a post office flyering. So I always jump at the opportunity to do it with somebody else,
Oh yeah,
But
it's
that
so much
first day,
easier when you got to click.
definitely. Yeah, the first day was good. Definitely a learning process doing it. It seems pretty, I mean, it is self-explanatory, but actually doing it takes a knack. It's largely asking questions instead of just kind of info dumping on the CCA,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these CCAs, this may be their first union job,
Yeah.
with how union density is in this country, how low it is. I mean, my generation and younger, a lot of us haven't grown up in union families. So just the concept of having a contract that will protect your job may be kind of a novel concept, and a foreign one. Like you said, they may not really learn about what the union is until they're in a PDI, right? And
Yep.
the steward to their side, or a coworker on the floor comes to their side against management. This is just a way to kind of jumpstart that process of getting them involved with the union to some degree,
Yeah. And let them know that they got a dog in your corner.
You got it.
I'm your dog. Like, yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty, just kind of show up and do it. And you learn as you go. Yeah.
I love it.
Donuts and coffee help a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, no. Exactly. Because I think when someone approaches you in the parking lot and you're just trying to clock in, it's like, I don't want to be here. Why? I feel like I'm being approached by someone at a cell phone case kiosk at the fucking mall. So, but if
Mhm.
you got donuts and coffee, it's like, okay, all right, give me the elevator pitch before I clock in. That's awesome. That's awesome. Josh, what do you guys say about that? Like, I know we talked about like, because you're operating in Rhode Island too, so is it a lot of the similar shit?
So it's a really wild situation down here. So I'm formerly of Branch 12, and I always love saying that because I'm a Worcester guy. I've been a Worcester guy my whole life, and now I've kind of just moved and transferred. So it was really cool to like connect with these guys who are from the same kind of area, and I'm trying to move it south. That's my goal, is to get it more south so we can be just more than mass BFN. The whole goal is to become New England BFN and outreach to all these guys and make this movement a New England movement.
Fuck yeah.
And it's really wild. So I kind of went out on a limb, and I woke up early and I got a lot of support here from my family, and they were like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." So I went out, I got a couple Gatorades and stuff like that because it's CCA Summer, and we want to kind of get away from the coffee and the donuts and stuff like that because that'll weigh you down real quick. Especially the people that know me, I'm short and round. There ain't no speed to this.
Living that hobbit life.
That's right, baby. That's right. Some people call me Brother Midge, and that's who I am. So, it was good to reach out and talk to some of the CCAs in my own place, off the clock, on their way in. And I talked to not only CCAs, but RCAs. And I remember listening to one of Corey's podcasts, and he was talking about his father, and he was like, his father was really pushing to become part of the NALC back when because his father was a rural. So in my branch, well, in my installation, the Sunday group is like kind of 50-50. So I was able to talk to not only CCAs but RCAs about some stuff, and it was just really cool to be able to reach out and say, hey, make sure you take an extra water, make sure you take an extra Gatorade, because you never know what's going to happen. The Sunday is the wild, wild west. And I really want to give a shout out to my installation's Stewart, who is actually a CCA. They gave her the nod.
Fuck yes.
And we
love a CCA steward. We love a CCA steward.
She's a badass. I will say that she is a badass, and I'm so proud, because what that does is that not only opens up, the whole Stewart thing, but it brings the Stewart into the Sunday, and that's huge. When I started, I remember I started. There was no Sunday shindig. I was one of the original people of the Sunday shindig, where they would scan packages, they would write numbers. You had a paper turn by turn, and fortunately for me, I always chose like the dirty area in my neighborhood. There was two spots that were close together, and it was like riding through my neighborhood delivering packages. I was set. But compared to other people and other people's experiences, it's been horrific, and I'm just glad to have our girl Stephanie as a union rep on that CCA thing. So she really supported this as well, and allowing me to say, hey, make sure you reach out to these guys. So that's part of the thing that we're doing down here in Branch 55. We're really working on like a different kind of thing where we have a group of us that we're trying to do outreach and get people more involved, not only in being part of the union, but being in the union and making the union progressive and move forward as like a family. Everyone has a voice in Branch 55. It's a beautiful thing down here we got going.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's something we are all on the same page, even if we disagree on how it works. I think we're all on the same page that we all want to bring that sort of shit to our local branch. And I know some people have it easier. They're playing on easy mode, depending on where you are in the country. And some people have it a lot harder. You talked about you want to make it less of a Boston thing and more of a New England thing. Well, we have the exact opposite approach down here in the Southeastern branch, because we're all so fucking spread out that we had to start with a big region and then grow our smaller cliques. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I love this. I love this conversation, because also we're always telling CTAs, get involved with the union, get involved with the union. Well, what the fuck does that look like? In a lot of places, what that looks like is you show up at a branch meeting and they talk about a benefit golf tournament. And I know Ernest is a golf player, so I'm not going to talk too much shit on golf.
Whoa,
yeah.
on the golf, bro. Whoa, man.
Okay, I'm also organizing the golf tournament. Let's delete this. Don't put this in the final. You're going to lose half of us.
But you know what I mean? So like, it's giving CCAs something to do to get involved in the union is, I think, really important. And like what you guys are talking about, and I know we've talked off mic, like, not just showing up and supporting the CCAs, but being like, hey, brother, man, can you be our inside dude? Because we can talk to people for 30 seconds to 2 minutes out here, but you're going to be throwing packages with them on the inside. Like Steph is, you know, your ma'am on the inside. So like that sort of shit. And the CCA will do that. If a CCA goes to a branch meeting and there's nothing in that branch meeting for them, they're probably not going to show up to the next branch meeting. But if you give them something to do, that is, I mean, like, yeah, because we all want to make our union better, but it feels so overwhelming. And because there's so many problems, it's so overwhelming that most people just don't even start. And what you guys are doing is you guys started and you're giving avenues for other people to get involved. And that is fucking awesome.
Well, I think the big thing is that you're not just a steward or a branch president, or you're just a rank and file member. I'm just a member. I mean, there's other.
I'm just a knuckle dragging grunt.
But there's
I'm just a knuckle dragging grunt. I'm in the trenches with you.
Well, that's it, and that's one of the things that I've tried to bring from both installations is just coming in and saying, like on a Monday morning, how was your weekend? How was your day? You know what I mean? And approaching it at a people first level. If you approach a CCA as a person and not just as a thing, like as an itemized person, you know what I'm saying?
And CCAs are, and that's what I talk about when I'm like, a kicked dog is always going to growl when you offer them food. They need to see that fucking food first, because like you're right. Talking to a CCA like they're a person is so that experience runs right contrary in the face of their experience at the post office.
Well, like, that's the thing. I was fortunate that I had a lot of guys that were senior guys. When I started in Worcester, the top guy was from 1968, pre-strike, and he just came up, shook my hand. Hey, I'm Mags. Oh, no shit. You know, like that's cool. Yes. That's cool. And it's the stretching of the generations. Now, you know, I've been doing this for 11 years, and now I can reach out to someone that's just starting and saying, hey, man, I feel like I'm that senior guy that can hand
you're the
advice down.
You're the old timer now, baby.
I'm the mid-tier.
Mid-tier. All right, Dennis, I got to ask you, what's sort of been the general reaction from CCAs that you've noticed? Like, what are the vibes? Are they suspicious? Are they like, fuck it? Yeah, I'll take a water. What do you got to say? Like, what's the vibe? Like, how have you guys kind of been perceived? Are you guys looked at as just these weird lunatics who show up, or are they like, oh, no shit, you're with the union? Okay, cool. Like, what's sort of been the vibe?
I think we get both. I mean, I think so. I'm sure the other guys will tell you, like, sort of our first question is, you know, how long have you started? So that probationary period makes it a very different conversation, because you want to just kind of keep it quick and kind of keep it moving with them, because you don't want to bring any heat on them that they don't deserve.
Exactly. And I love that you're cognizant of that.
And we're very cognizant of that. I think, you know, sometimes you walk up and you can just see like they've got that sort of deer in the headlights look, and like, you know, what do you want? Because I'm trying to work here. Like, you know, I just want to get out of here. I want to just get my packages and go. And it's like, here's what we want. We're trying to make sure that you understand that you've got a support network. You have, you know, people who have just started like you know, within the past couple of years, and we know what you're feeling, and, you know, let us help you any way we can, basically.
Yeah, just making yourself available. Just be like, hey, I know you got to get on the clock and get this fucking stupid day over with. Because I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than it. Amazon Sunday is the easiest day of your week, but it's the most demoralizing. No one else from no other letter carrier, no one from the union is actually fucking working. You go in and you gotta deliver packages to a neighborhood you ain't never been to, and you gotta go in and bring in someone's fucking box fan into the bistro while everyone's having drinks on the patio, sipping mimosas and enjoying brunch on a beautiful day, and you're fucking working making less money than anyone else at the fucking post office. It's demoralizing as fuck. So yeah, no, that's being cognizant of they just want to get in and get out, but also making yourself available. So it's like, hey, is this shit bothering you? I know you're busy right now. Here's my number. Text me on your break. Take your breaks. Like, that type of shit is incredibly helpful, especially if you're, like Chris was talking about, putting money in their pocket.
Exactly.
But yeah, sorry. I get super excited about this stuff. So and I ramble a lot. So y'all can just tell me to shut the fuck up sometime.
How dare you
Um,
have passion about your craft?
I know, right? My own. My, I'm not gonna get into it. I said I wasn't gonna talk shit. So
The last thing I will say before I break is just like sometimes just that little quick conversation you have, you can sort of see a little bit of tension release in their face and their body, and that definitely makes it worth it.
yeah. Oh yeah. They realize you're not selling them something. You're there to actually help. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Dennis, what are because I want to open this up to the rest of you guys as well, but while I got you on, what have you seen any sort of like tangible sort of effects? Have you seen I know Chris was talking about how, you guys put money in their pockets, tell them that, because CCAs, Mal and I talk about this all the time. You are entitled to 2 to 4 hours worth of work just to show up. You don't answer your phone on your way in. You get to work, clock the fuck in. If they want to send you home, grieve it, get paid. Uh, that is just telling people about that. Clearly, you made friends that day. Are there has the vibe with those people as they get used to seeing you on Sundays? Has that vibe changed? And have they wanted to get maybe a little bit more involved with what you're doing?
I think so, and I think so for us, it's I think a little bit different, in the SMDC because it is such a large operation that people are moving different ways, and it's like it's constantly going. But people do stop you or say hi to you and say thank you, and ask questions. You're like, you said this, what about this, and and you tell them I don't have the answer to that, but I know someone who does. So let's go talk to them.
That's awesome. No, that's really brilliant. I wish y'all were doing that shit when I was a CCA. Like,
Chris,
well, I mean, like, I'm a PTF now, but when I was doing Amazon Sunday.
Chris, you got some?
Yeah, just one thing too, and because about the vibes thing, and I know Ryan will say the same thing too, because people ask us like, what's it like for us who do it, and it's like, because we pay out of pocket for the coffee and the donuts and the Gatorades and the waters. We have to take time away from our families at that time too, which I want to thank my wonderful wife Stephanie for always letting me leave Sunday morning after we walk the dog really early. That I'm like, hi, you're not going to see me for the next 3 hours this Sunday, and we do every other Sunday, so it's a big personal sacrifice for us. And it's like, well, why? What's the point? And to sound hokey, it's like, I can't describe. You just feel really good about helping your fellow worker, kind of like get by. Because
Yeah.
when I was starting off, I had an asshole of a boss who breathed down my neck. I felt like I was doing everything wrong. Even I worked really hard. This is back, I was a CCA for 3.5 years. So like, this is before the 2 year thing. So I just did it. That was it. The pay starting was $16.19 an hour. After 1 year, there was no more pay raises, and this is when you'd work 9 days, get 1 day off, work 14 days. It was a brutal existence back then.
Yeah.
But the phrase is great. Luckily there was some good people at my office who reached out to me like, hey, look, you're doing fine. Ignore him. All right. You're doing a good job. We notice it. And that does mean a lot. But for us telling people, hey, this is what a union's supposed to be, looking out for each other and like educating them on it and letting them know their rights. And what we do is talk about the platform too. We educate them on what BFN stands for, an all career workforce, $30 an hour. That gets people really like, and some people are like, oh, are we going to get $30 an hour now? I'm like, well, hopefully, but you have to explain, what the reform movement means for them. They have the most to gain out of it. And I get like I said, we're working harder for less every year, but being able to talk to them and seeing their eyes light up of like, you got like the union's fighting for it. I go, well, some of us in the union, but like, that's the conversation I like having, is educating them on what the goals are, because this can't be it for them. This cannot be the only goal of like, I'm just going to get through and I'm like, I'm going to top up my wage after 17 years, like that's how long, because the 3.5 years plus like 17 years for me to get top pay. I'm in my 40s. Like I'm going to be in my 50s till I top out. Yeah. things need to change. And that's the other thing we like talking about the platform as well. So we educate them on their rights and we give them a goal to hope for. So that's just it. And it's just the greatest thing in the world to like do this. And it's great. So that's just me on the vibes.
Yeah, dude. No. Mallory will tell you. We do solidarity soapbox every episode, and like I don't think we need to do one right here because this whole episode is fuck solidarity soapbox. I'll get emotional and start crying sometimes when we're talking about the shit. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I love. Yeah. No, that's what it's all about. That's
Right.
that's what being.
Right.
That's what we mean when we say union, brother, sister, they, them. That's what we mean. So
Right. It's
yeah.
what Corey says. Like, you have to have love for the city. It's corny. Like I said, it sounds corny, but you do have to really have love for the city letter carry in the craft. You know,
Yeah.
this job is 250 years of people doing this. This is a tradition we're a part of. And he's right. You know, it sounds corny, but it's true. You know, so
Yeah.
I just want to add that in.
Exactly.
All right, Ryan.
This is a position that should be facilitated like through the union structures,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Organizers. It's far from ideal, but it's kind of like Chris was saying, it's illustrative of just how much letter carriers care about letter carriers, take a pride in their work, that we do this just on our own time. I mean,
Yeah.
it would not be like an extravagantly paid union position, to be clear, but just that we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also important to just go over why the CCA position exists, right? Like two-tiered employment. It's by a classic union busting technique, you know?
Yep.
Same reason we have, 4 craft unions within the post office on unsynced contracts. You know, how many times have you heard a letter carrier say, "Oh, those clerks don't do anything. Why do they get paid more than us?"
Exactly. Like I think we should be making as much, if not more, than the clerks. But that doesn't mean that the clerks making that money is hurting me. You know what I mean? Like they should be making that money. We should be making that money. We should all be making more fucking money.
We all share the same parasitic boss. Like
Exactly.
I think when I was a CCA, one summer we had like too many CCAs, so there were not enough hours to go around, and we were getting a bit yappy about it. We were getting angry because people couldn't put food on the table, having trouble paying rent. Management eventually brought us into the office, all the CCAs, and one of them told us, the CCA who does the route quickest is the one who's going to get the hours.
Oh, get fucked.
Right?
Get fucked.
You got to slap on the wrist, not because of that managerial technique, but because she said the quiet part like very explicitly out loud, right? That's why they exist. Because then the regular comes at the CCA, says, "Hey, the manager came to me, said you did my route in 6 hours on Monday. I do it 10 hours on Tuesday. What the fuck are you doing?" Right? It's a way to keep
Yep.
the employees at each other's necks. So there's a lot of talk about how this can't be, a fiscal win for the post office. This can't with the turnover rate. But when you think about it, it really is a really shrewd business maneuver. Just because if we were united, we could be fighting for fucking gigantic things,
Oh yeah, and that's why solidarity is so important, and that's why that's why Mal and Cole and I do this, and why you guys are doing that shit. Like it's because we're they pit us against each other, and no, you're absolutely right, and what you guys are doing is flying in the face of that, because again, like the old anarchist labor slogan, an injury to one is an injury to all, and who's more injured than the fucking CCAs? So yeah, no, that's beautiful. I fully agree.
They've got the most to win.
Yeah. I think someone had their hand up. That was thank you, Mal.
Me. That was me, but Ryan really cleared it up. Not all of us come from these spots where we have a good senior letter carrier group where they take people under their wings and they actually reach out and they work with someone. I know that is a big issue that happens in some branches, and just to be able to reach out and to pass along that information is super huge. especially if it's people you don't know. I
Yeah.
know. I go on vacation. I bump into a letter carrier all the time. I bump into different ones, and I always say, "Hey, my name is Josh, Branch 55," and I've had certain younger carriers not even know what branch they're from. And
Yeah.
this is a huge issue. Like, how do you not know what branch you're from?
Yeah.
That's a big issue. How are we going to be a solid union that all looks out for each other when this if this person doesn't know what branch number they're from, never mind how are they going to know who their union president is, their steward, their VP, the executive board, all those things. It's important to be involved even if you're not holding a position. And that took me a while to get to. I was involved a little bit when I started in 12, and then I moved away and I was commuting a lot. COVID hit, I was working 12 hours, and forget commuting 45 minutes one way and then doing a 12-hour shift and then going to a
Yeah.
union meeting. The other big thing is
Yeah,
now.
when I first got here, I moved to Dallas, and I worked in South Fort Worth, and my commute was 2.5 hours every day, and I was working
Brutal.
12 to 14 hours as a CCA, and then still trying to make it to fucking union meetings once a month. It's a fucking
That's
nightmare.
brutal. That's brutal. And so I know one of the big things is like I talk to a lot of CCAs. Our branch is kind of adapting a Zoom thing, and we don't really have it in the bylaws. It's on a trial basis that I tell all these guys, especially the younger guys that have kids like me. I have kids. It's tough. It's tough when you have a toddler that like goes 0 to 900 in a minute, and and go to leave that burden on either your significant other or your mother, father, or in-laws, you know. But if you can if you can adopt the Zoom and get people in on Zoom is huge too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we're running long on time. Yeah, I'm trying to get that's the next bylaw change that I'm going to be trying down here in Branch 226, and I want to give a shout out to Tremont Smith and Tommy Davis and Carew in my station, because I was picked on royally as a CCA, and those dudes looked out for me, and they didn't have to, but they would just lean over to me after the manager walked away and said, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Just, you're doing fine. And like that is so much. So if you're not a CCA, even if you're a CCA, you can do that for other CCAs. Yeah. So that's really important. I know we're running short on time, so I'm gonna skip some shit in this outline so we can get to wrapping up, because I know we all got PlayStations that miss us. I don't. I had to pawn mine, but like I miss it. The so adopting a CCA, who rescued who? Chris, do you want to talk about like what you've learned in the couple weeks you've been doing this, and what your advice is for other folk who want to start doing this shit, and if there's CCAs listening to this who want to start doing this shit too, like how can they get involved, whether it's through BFN or just doing the damn thing? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah, that's a great thing. It's one thing that's important, and like I always say, like have something to hand out, like have the flyer, because if someone is like, hey, look, like like here, you give them a flyer, whatever, they might take it, they might put it in their pocket or whatever, but they might read it, and it's easy to make a flyer and to list everything.
I'll read a flyer. I'm not going to follow a QR code. That's right. Just me. I'm not going to look at it. I like just phone, reading it. I will read a flyer.
Right. So I think it's important. So we put so the top thing is the opening, all letter carriers deserve a living wage. That's the opening line. That's exactly what we feel. Everybody deserves a living wage. That usually responds to people. But then we just put our platform of what we stand for, and then we put are you getting what you owed, which puts out, and then we put like the citation too on the bottom so they can look it up on their own. So in case like, well, I'm supposed to get a break. Someone once said there's no breaks on Amazon Sunday. Some boss, supervisor said that. And I'm like,
I know. I've heard supervisors say that too. And then they got really salty when I pulled out the fucking M41.
Yep. Yeah. Where does it say not on Amazon Sunday? So they can
Yeah.
look it up themselves too. And then we put a little speech on there too about that this job, the letter carrier craft used to be a job that, at least here in Boston, there was the two ways you'd make it in life without going to college. Either you got a job working at the mass transit, it was called the MBTA or the T. You worked that was a good union job, solid job, or you worked at the post office. Those are the two solid jobs to a good, upper class, middle class life where you can live pretty well. The MBTA starting as a bus driver is $32 an hour right now. A starting wage of a CCA is what, 20? Like we have
It's like
lost
19.
70.
It's
It used
just
to be 1966. I think it went up a little bit with this new TA. A
the
little.
the new TA was, I think, 44 cents.
Oh my God. So barely over 20.
44 no 1933 to start, plus the 44 cents, if my math is right. So
Might be
not even
77.
breaking
Yeah,
20.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a thing too. But as far as like else advice too, one thing you want to do too, and this is important, ask the CCA if it's in your office, find out when they start, because not every Amazon Sunday starts at like 8:30. Some might start at 8,
Yeah.
9
They
o'clock.
start
So
at 10,
find
they
that
start
out.
at 10 in Fort Worth, but I think they start at 9 in Dallas.
Right.
So,
See,
yeah.
that's the thing. So definitely find that out because you don't want to stand there either an hour early or an hour late. Like, oh, everyone's gone. That's it too. Make sure that's important. Ask the local knowledge. Also, get the address. Ask them. Okay, we've like some of these buildings are huge. Where do they come out of? Like, it's the size of a football field. You might be sitting at the wrong entrance. That happened to us once. We're like, I think we hit the wrong place because everyone's going the other way. So we had to so know where to stand and plot it out. And also with this, it's gonna be, and one thing to be prepared for, it's gonna be a little bit awkward, just kind of talking to random people. Like some people are good at just walking up to you. Be prepared to not connect well. You're not gonna have. There's certain days when some people are just pissed off and they don't want to talk to you. Doesn't matter. If you had $1,000 check, they would just go fuck off. I don't want but I think just be okay with like some people are just not going to want to talk to you. But you once in a while, and this is at Norwood. I think when we were there with Norwood, we found a couple. We had the union president. I'm going to shout out to Zach Hogan, president over there at the Norwood local. It's 1064. I can't think of the number, but he was with us. So having the union president there was great and helpful. That was a great time. I really think of all the times I can think back, everyone was there. There were some people who were like, "Oh, I know you from the podcast." I'm like, "Oh, wow, cool." So some people knew who we were. Great experience, but it's okay to go out there, know your rights. I always tape the NLRA ruling on you and bring you work ID, but it's worth it. Go out there and talk to your fellow workers. It does feel like a good thing. And like I said, also just prepare ahead of time too and be okay with it may not go well the first time. Don't let that ruin it for you. It gets better. So that's just my advice.
Yeah, real quick to jump in on that. Don't they may be pissed off and they may not want to be in on Sunday. Just hand them their coffee, hand them a flyer, say have a good day. And they might put that in their pocket and read it later. You don't have to go above and beyond and do all this crazy stuff. Sometimes it's just being simply there and saying, have a good day.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay, so I know we're having to run over some stuff. Ernest, you want to chime in?
Yeah, real quickly, man. So for again, if you're in a branch that's not necessarily that enthused about something like this and you need some kind of resources, the BFN, we put something out on our actual national page for anyone who hasn't visited yet. It's fightingnalc.com. So if you go to fightingnalc.com, there's some tabs at the top. There's a CCA Summer materials tab that you can hit, or you can just type in the full website if you want to. It's fightingnalc.com/CCA-Summer-materials, and it'll give you, again, it's not a damn encyclopedia, but at least it'll get you started if you're interested in organizing those CCAs that are working on those Amazon Sundays. And then shout out to the T workers up in Boston, man. When I visited up there, again, I come from Texas. We don't have a public transportation network down here, so I was amazed. I know I gave that little joke when I was up there, man. That over here you can't drive 3 blocks without passing a gas station. They're all over the place. And over there, I was amazed because I saw 1 million Dunkin' Donuts, but no gas stations, man. I was
We're
amazed.
very proud of our Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you.
Shout out to Dunkin' Donuts, man.
And with I'm glad you brought that up, Ernest, because those are good resources. I think one of the things they have that's coming soon is a script. So if you don't know kind of how to get started, someone's going to be putting together some sort of script to talk to people about. I also just like being in some of the meetings, the Massachusetts BFN meetings, and because I've been doing this shit for a while too, we kind of hammered out some like do's and don'ts and some tips and tricks. And we can put that in the show notes. I got an outline there, and I know Dennis did a really good job of taking my like 4-page outline and condensing it down into like a 1-page handout, just like how to approach people and stuff like that is really helpful. So we'll put that in the show notes as well. The main thing is to just get involved, and like if no one's doing it in your area, you can start to do it. If you don't want to take pictures and you don't want to be all flashy and shit, like I did a bunch of activist shit in 2020. I'm very much not going to take pictures of my activism. Like that's just me personally. But taking pictures and shit is there's a place for that, and there's time, and like if you feel comfortable doing that and you got to click, do that. But you don't have to do that. The main thing is that you show up and you support people, right? And I think is there anything that you guys wanted to touch on before we get to plugs and shit?
Yeah, a couple things, man. Actually,
Hell yes.
on the CCA materials on the BFN side, so you'll have the National Labor Relations Act that Chris was talking about earlier. It'll have we have like a Know Your Rights flyer for the CCAs and for the people who are going to be there tabling. It'll tell you what section of that NLRB Act that you're looking at. If management starts to give you a hard time, and the script is already up, so the script is on there. If you're someone, again, this is like your first time doing something like this,
The script's up there.
Yeah, we have the script up there already.
Oh,
We
dope.
published it.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, we put out the when we put it out on June 25th, it wasn't ready yet, but we officially put out the script on July 3rd, so it's already up there and it's ready to go.
Oh, cool.
One thing I did want to kind of remind some people on, because I don't think we touched on it yet, but so there's an MOU that came out not too long ago, because basically it's not a tentative agreement anymore. It's our official contract now. It's an award.
Yeah.
We did get an arbitration award on this, so we have a contract. And so in Article 8, Section 3, under exceptions, so CCA employees will be scheduled in accordance with Section 2A and B of this article. All CCAs will be guaranteed a minimum of 1 non-scheduled day each service week, except during the penalty overtime exclusion period, which there's 4 weeks in December that CCAs will learn that you'll be lucky if you get a day off. Management will notify CCAs of their assigned non-scheduled day by Wednesday of the preceding service week. So if you don't know what day you're off, Wednesday the week before, that's an issue that you should bring up to one of your union representatives, man, to figure that out, because
grieve that shit.
Yeah, exactly, man. So the point of this is just to not have you as a standby employee all week. Like let them know, hey man, what days am I off? What days am I working? And then, like I said, if they want to schedule everybody on Sunday and they only need 4 and you guys all show up, just make sure that you at least clock in, clock out, and then notify your stewards so they can file those grievances for you.
Yeah, and Mallory and Cole and I did an episode where we touched on some of that stuff. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, it involves malicious compliance, and if they schedule it every day of the week, show up every day of the week, they're going to have to send you home one of those days, and you're going to pocket 8 hours of pay if you have a hold down and they send you home on a day that your hold down is supposed to work, that's free 8 hours worth of pay, because they got to pay you for that because that's your route. That's a big one. If you're talking to CCAs on Amazon Sunday, teach them how. I'm just gonna hit some things real quick. The CCAs, knowing that we're having this conversation brought up, they want to know more about the new employee retention program. So maybe with the BFN, that can be something that we focus on. Y'all focus on as far as handouts, and then also the letter carrier resource guide, kind of a Cliff's notes of that. And then I've had the most luck down here getting people telling them about the benefits of hold downs and the benefits of getting a regular schedule through that. That has I've had a lot of luck getting people more involved in paying attention to union shit, specifically because of hold downs and the pay there. So Awesome. Thank you, Ernest. I think one other miscellaneous thing other under our resources tab, there is a podcast called "It Could Happen Here." It's a bunch of dirty anarchists who do a daily sort of news podcast. But there's a specific episode that I think anyone who wants to get organized, they might be talking about all this shit that you already know, but it will amp you up and fill up your cup as far as like wanting to get in the nitty gritty and dirty. That episode is called "You Already Know How to Organize." The podcast is called "It Could Happen Here." We'll put a link in the show notes.
Plus one on that. Yeah, I've been an organizer for a while. Like I said, it refilled my it's a couple good ideas, but it's yes. I want to play. That was a great episode. Yes, very good.
Yeah, I sent that to you, and you and I had a conversation where like, yeah, no, they're saying all the shit we already know, but some of it I forgot in my time organizing.
Yes,
and then
same.
also
Yep.
it amps you. It will amp you up. And
Yes,
if you're
definitely.
new to organizing, it's a very good because there's great literature and stuff in order to like learn how to organize. I have bad ADHD, and I have to take an afternoon to sit down to read a book for 15 minutes without my Adderall.
Same.
So like being able to listen to an hour long podcast that just sort of like runs through the clip notes and gets you amped up is great. So we'll put that in the show notes. We want to do some plugs real quick. So Next Gen, Vassar went on the Next Gen podcast to talk about CCA Summer. Go listen to that. And then also they've been posting. Murphy's been putting up Undelivered, which I haven't listened to yet, but I'm excited to listen to. That's going to be more education on organizing and organizing history. And then on Sunday, the 13th, Next Gen is going to have a Heat Summit thing. Corey Walton's going to be on there, Richie Ray, fucking Gigax, Mr. Michigan. It's going to be a rogues gallery of podcasting nerds talking about heat safety stuff. Mal's going to be on there. So wanted to plug that, and then
and by the way, we're already at like 175 registrations too, so do register. So this is going to be a big one, folks. So I'm gonna have to purchase a bigger room, literally, because that like the limit's like 100, so that's fine. But definitely, please come. It's going to be great.
All right, and then two more plugs. You guys wanted to plug a rally in Pittsburgh, and after that, I want to give because we got our Texas convention coming up, and Cesar Hernandez has been an incredible advocate for CCAs and the letter carrier, and he's got I want to give him a chance to do a little campaigning plug for that. So I think he's going on Next Gen at some point too, but I want to give him that opportunity because the man cares about the letter carrier and puts a lot of work into it, even when he's fighting whether he's fighting people who are supposed to be on his team or fighting people on the opposite team. He's fighting for the people in Region 5, and I want to give him a chance to talk. So if you guys want to plug the Pittsburgh thing, and then I want to give Cesar and Ernest a chance to talk about Region 5. Not Region 5.
So Josh and I just recorded a quick promo for an episode we recorded previously with Mark M. I'm not sure if he wants his last name out there, but he's from Pittsburgh, local 84. There have been 3 armed robberies in 1 week in Pittsburgh. They're having enough. One story, and Josh, that story about the guy with the gun, that's bad. I'll let it, it's just when I told Capone the story today, and he was in shock of how bad it's getting there. But they have 3, so they're having Enough is Enough rally, which is going to be Sunday the 13th at 2 p.m. outside of the Branch 84 Union Hall at 841 California Ave. So if anyone can come down there, Mark M's a great. I mean, I've talked to him here and there, but this story is just incredible about someone who pulled a gun. I mean, I'll just share what he said. So there was a guy. Guy was getting done with his job. He was getting on his motorcycle to leave. Guy walks up to him with a hoodie on, pulls the hoodie up. He's got a gun. He goes, "Give me your keys." He goes, "I don't have any. I'm leaving." He's like, "All right, we're going to go back into the building and get me the keys."
Jesus.
So he makes the guy walk back into the building, and there's people wrapping up. And he walks up to the manager and he goes, "I need the keys, arrow keys." And the manager kind of laughs like, "Oh, okay. Who's your friend here?" So the guy pulls the gun up. He goes, "Give me the keys now." So they had to hand over the keys, and the guy walked out with them. That's bad. That's so they're really asking
That's so fucking brazen.
I know, right. HR 1065 is, I think, Protector Letter Carriers Act, so that'll be another story for another day. But we need to phase out these arrow keys. These arrow keys need to go. HR 1065 is going to provide the funding to get rid of it. Like, unfortunately, the word's out. You can make a lot of money with these arrow keys.
Yeah.
So they need to go.
We had two different carriers robbed on the same route
Oh my
down
God.
here in Fort Worth last year.
Yep.
Uh
Yep.
and yeah, and the fucking mall cops, postal cops came in and told us about the new electronic keys that we're going to get probably about the same time we get electric vehicles with air
Right.
conditioning.
Right.
And
Yep.
my question was, so when someone's got a gun in my face, I'm pretty cool under pressure, but when someone's got a gun in my face, how am I going to explain to them that this electronic key fob isn't going to help them? Like,
Yep.
we got to be doing something. But
Yep.
yeah, so that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
And real quick, not to get political, but call your
everything's
reps.
political, baby.
Call your reps about this. You know, call your reps about this. Let's get this thing endorsed so we can get it through all the channels between Congress and the House. This needs to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say, too, also in Massachusetts BFN, we are talking about having a rally outside of a few politicians here in Massachusetts who are not supporting HR 1065. So, Representative Auchincloss and Clark, just consider yourselves. We wrote you petitions. We did it the nice way, and you didn't do it. So, Representative Clark and Auchincloss, we might be seeing you at your office next month. So, you might have a bunch of pissed off mailmen rallying, not protesting. Protesting, you need a permit, but a rally for HR 1065 protector letter carriers. So just saying.
Get a hold of me on Signal and let me tell you about a little thing we call a stinger.
Okay,
actually,
all right.
Cut that out. That might actually give me
all right, yeah. I mean, all right. No, leave it in. We're going Mangione on this shit.
For all intents and purposes, that was a joke.
Yes,
okay.
yes, it is. Humor.
Okay.
Waka waka.
Yeah. In Minecraft. So, Mr. Hernandez,
Hey,
you want to campaign a little bit?
Yeah, just
that's a good lead in. That's all right.
Yeah, just real quick, guys. You know, and I would like to thank everybody over here in this. I mean, you guys are doing an amazing job over here. You know, teaching CCAs, and I just want to let you. I want to tell all the CCAs, man, the CCAs, they're the future of the post office. Eventually, they're gonna be leading us. Us, you know, we're gonna start getting old, and those are the ones who will be representing us. You know, whatever I guess, kindness you shown right now, that's the kindness they're gonna show us in the future. Yeah, just think about it, guys. Because you know what I mean, like time flies, and by the time we know it's gonna be 10 years, and that CCA that started 10 years ago, it's gonna be the steward, it's gonna be something else, and they trust me, they're gonna remember. Yeah, just be kind to the CCAs, guys. And just real quick, you know, I've been the District 5 representative for 2 years. This is new for me. You know, learn as I go. I've been traveling to some offices. You know, if you guys are familiar with Texas, some of my offices that I had to travel, it's about 6 hours. You know, I'm close to San Antonio, Texas. Brownsville, it's about 6 hour drive. So it's kind
Texas
of
is huge.
yeah, Texas is real big. You know, some of the another office is about 2 hours. I've been going to visit. You know, some try to as much as I can. You know, I know they have another office. It's in East El Paso. It's about 8 hours. So we kind of, you know, like district, you know, we appoint somebody to represent us as a district. You know, I do represent some other people within my district that are, you know, they're the mapping over here in the district. I'm pretty sure Chris knows it. It's sometimes the map it doesn't make no sense, kind of like the routes. Yeah, so I mean, you have one congressman way over here. You have another congressman over there. So yeah, so I try to do my best to help. I mean, everybody over here on my district. You know, I've been telling some of my fellow carriers, like, I mean, when I see like they're on, if something's going on, I guess like real crazy, you know, I encourage those guys to follow congressional. And you know, some guys they do actually. I think I'm not at 100% sure, but I think on my here in Texas, I'm one of the ones that have been pushing more and more for congressionals. They do work, guys. They do work. Trust me. I have an office that they file about 6 congressionals, and once you know the Congress gets involved, you know it's different. It's different. Management they change. Of course, you kind of get in trouble for that because you're not supposed to. Yeah, because you're not supposed to bother Congress. I mean, like, I mean, it is what it is. I try to do the best I can. Sometimes, like, if the union is not doing anything to help the brother right there, so hey, dude, just call Congress, tell them
Yeah,
what's going on. Go ahead, brother.
and a bully always gets mad when you tell mom and dad that you're being bullied. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
and
awesome.
also, yeah, and also I've been, I've been getting a lot of help from Ernest Gonzales and John. I mean, appreciate it, guys, and I'll be over there at the state convention coming up, by the end of the month, and thank you for your support, guys. Thank you for having me over here, and it was really, it's badass, man. Guys, you guys are kicking ass.
And just
Ernest,
to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, man, let me kind of explain to you why kind of the Southeastern branch was formed. We recognize that on top of all of the contractual stuff that we need to focus on, we need to focus on Washington, especially down here in the South. A lot of the arguments that you're going to get into are actually with your own members, simply because, the educational institutions have been unbelievably deteriorated down here. And so a lot of our members just aren't educated. And with the job that the media is supposed to be doing to educate everybody, they don't do their job. They're not news organizations. They are entertainment programs that are designed to make everything partisan so that we continue to bitch and moan with each other as opposed to worrying about shit that actually is going to affect your paycheck and your ability to put food on the table. So what and every state should have one, if I'm not mistaken. But we have something down here called the Texas State Association of Letter Carriers. It is basically a state wing of the National Association of Letter Carriers that focuses solely on DC. And so Penny just kind of filled me. All except Alaska has one. Okay, so sorry, Alaska. You guys got to. I would hope that you guys get to work on that because there's a lot of Republicans up there too. But the bless you, Mallory. I saw that you sneezed. So the
Thank
anyway,
you.
so the point of this, man, the district, they're broken up into districts, and you have like representatives from each district, and their job is basically to go to Congress and to lobby congressional people to see our way on bills that we feel would positively affect not just the postal service but letter carriers' jobs in particularly. And so the whole point when I wanted to start BFN was to start really, really looking at those state associations and start getting our people into those positions. Like Cesar is going to be basically our first, or at least for me, will be my first push to have one of our people in one of those positions.
Heck
And
yeah.
so, and he's the best one for this region that I've seen. He's the one that cares the most. A lot of people want to assume that he's uneducated because English is his second language. He is first generation he was born in Veracruz, Mexico, but he's here in San Antonio now. He's made his home here. His children are Uvalde born and raised, and I know he's going to be here for a while. I know he still travels back and forth to visit family and stuff like that. But he's part of the family down here now. And so if he ever escapes, I'll go kidnap him and bring his ass back. But the district that he represents is 9 times out of 10 what we like to call the valley down here, which is 9 times out of 10 most of your letter carriers down there are Spanish speaking letter carriers. And so when you have someone who doesn't speak their language, it's very, very hard to get them organized or to try to bring them our way on political issues. Not that a lot of them are voting the wrong way. A lot of them just aren't involved. They don't understand the aspects of why these types of things are important. And the only reason that I know contacts in Brownsville and Del Rio and Laredo, and we've helped kind of revamp some of those branches through Cesar. And so a lot of those, probably Laredo is probably the best example, but Eagle Pass, Texas, a lot of these branches that they were kind of, I guess, forgotten. They're far off on the border, like Cesar said, man. For me to drive to Brownsville from San Antonio is about 6.5 hour drive. And again, it's not like you're going 35 miles an hour the whole time. You're racing down there at 70, and it's still taking you
Yeah,
six and a half hours to
you're
get there.
hitting 80 between the overpasses where the cops hang out.
Exactly, man. And hope a state trooper doesn't see you along the way. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
Well,
that
you drive a
that's
minivan.
right. So it's just I would hope that anybody listening to this would take that to heart. That again, Caesar's heart's in the right place. If you ever want to really, really pick his brain, Google Translate, or if you're a Spanish speaker, obviously I don't have to explain this to you. But yeah, I mean, it's a very forgotten area of Texas. I'm Mexican, so for me, it really does hit home, and it really, really is saddens me when I see that my people are kind of being forgotten, and simply because we just don't speak the same language. And Cesar's been, in my opinion, a champion of those things, and he's one of the best representatives just for the simple fact that he actually gives a shit.
I appreciate it, brother.
So yeah, that's basically my spiel for it, man. And hope everybody will support him coming up in a couple weeks at the state convention.
Fuck yeah! And if you and any listeners, if English isn't your first language, or if you're in South Texas, or if like any of what Cesar and Ernest were talking about speaks to you at all, share this shit with your coworkers, because yeah, District 5 deserves the best, and Hernandez is pretty well the best. So yeah.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, thank you, John.
All right, so that's the plugs. That's the episode. Mal, do you got anything?
No, I'm barely hanging on right now. My nose is so stopped up. Thank you
Oh,
guys
bro.
for coming on. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope everybody keeps on fighting the good fight and getting involved and doing all the things that need to be done to help make our jobs and our experiences at work better. Morris, thanks for putting this episode together when I was out of the country.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
this
love
was
you
fun.
guys.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that's it from the CCA corner. Once again, Dennis, Ryan, Pieri, Cesar, everyone who reached out with some questions for these guys, and the folks who wanted to make it and couldn't. Thank you guys. Love you very much. We're gonna skip the solidarity soapbox because this entire episode is a solidarity soapbox.
All right, I'll do a quick one. Solidarity to the striking Republic sanitation workers, Teamsters,
yes.
and Local 25. We were marching the lines with BFN, so we'll keep up the fight,
yeah.
keep up the struggle. We'll be seeing them on Sunday too, so we'll be there. We're doing picket
yeah.
line stuff. We don't stop. My wife's never gonna see me. Good God, but
no rest for the wicked, and no good deed goes unpunished. But we're still here.
All right,
all right.
Awesome.
Love you guys.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Solidarity forever.
Bye.
Bye.